Hi, my name is Trisha from Beyond Barriers Personal Training, and today I've created a workout to help improve your posture. So everyone has different posture based on their daily activities or their work, just any daily pattern that you're doing that creates that posture. So I'm specifically going to do a workout that addresses a common posture that we see because of sitting all day. So that posture would generally be rounded shoulders, maybe a little neck protruding forward, and sometimes, but not always, we'll also see a little dysfunction in our lumbar pelvic area where we have this slight anterior tilt of the pelvis that's generally caused by tight hip flexors. So that is kind of the posture that I am going to be addressing today with this workout. And it's pretty short, about, it's going to be maybe the, the workout's 20 minutes, but the whole thing a little bit longer than 20 minutes. So we'll go ahead and get started. All right. So we're going to start with some stretches. What we want to do is we want to kind of open up the body and stretch out the muscles so that way we can activate the opposing muscles. So we're going to start with a kneeling stretch. So you'll have one foot on the floor in front of you, and this leg is in the back. Both legs are 90 degrees, and we're going to take our pelvis and do a slight tuck. So we're going to tuck under. So just pretend that your pelvis is a bucket full of water and we want to dump the water out of the back. All right, by just doing this pelvic tuck alone, then you should feel that stretch in the hip flexors already. All right, so from here, let's see if you can hold that pelvic tilt and then just kind of push forward without losing that pelvic tilt. So I'm just kind of pushing a little bit forward, and that deepens the stretch all the way down to the quads. So we're going to hold this stretch for about 30 seconds. I'd say that's about 30 seconds there, and then we're going to go ahead and do the other leg. All right, and so we'll start with the pelvic tuck, and then we're going to move forward, move into that stretch a little bit deeper, and hold there. We'll hold that for 30 seconds. So this is a great stretch to do daily. If you find that you do have a bit of that anterior pelvic tilt or any kind of low back pain, like a lot of low back pain that is caused by these tight hip flexors. So doing this stretch, especially in the morning and in the evening, will be incredibly helpful. All right, let's do that again. One more on each side. So we're doing the pelvic tuck, and then we're moving into the stretch. And we're going to hold right here. So this is the only stretch that we'll be holding in this routine, and the rest is going to be more dynamic. All right, and then we'll go ahead and switch to the other side. So we're starting with that pelvic tuck again, and then moving into that stretch and holding the stretch right here. Okay, so it's so important when we have a weak muscle that we need to work. Before we work that weak muscle, we need to stretch the opposing muscle. So you need to stretch the opposing muscle. Otherwise, the weak muscle is unable to fire. So that's something to think about. If you have a muscle weakness that you do need to work on, physical therapy exercises you need to work on, always making sure that you've stretched the opposing muscle first. All right, now let's go ahead and lie on your back, and we're going to begin with a chest stretch. So we're going to take one leg, drape it across the body with the opposite arm. We're going to just do a little bit of a snow angel to open up the chest, stretch the shoulder, and you want to go easy into the stretch. This isn't one that you want to push, okay? So if you're finding it difficult to bring that arm overhead, that's okay. Stop right there. We don't want to stress the shoulder. We're just loosening it up. So this is another one of those exercises where we're gonna stretch and lengthen, so that way we can strengthen our back. Okay, let's switch to the other side, and we'll do some snow angels on this side as well. Just try to open up that chest, open up that shoulder. All right, and then from here, you're gonna lie on your back. Legs will be in a 90-degree angle. And see if you can flatten your back against the floor. No space between back and the floor. Arms are gonna be in 90 degrees overhead. And you want to make contact with the floor the whole time. Stretch arms overhead, and then bring them right back to 90 degrees. So think about, is your back, upper back, lower back, and arms making contact with the floor the entire time? So we really want that flat back. That's just another way to stretch out and improve posture. And this is also a good exercise to do against the wall. So you could be standing with this exercise as well. All right, and then from here, we're gonna roll onto our stomach. We're still gonna continue to open up the chest. So arms are out to the side, palms are facing down. You're gonna turn away and touch your foot behind you. What I'm doing as I touch my foot behind me is I'm stretching the chest and shoulder of the arm where and the same side of the foot that I'm touching. Hope I'm making sense. And then we're gonna turn and twist. Turn and twist. So every time you turn away, you stretch. I turn away, stretch the chest. Turn away, stretch the chest. Turn and stretch. Turn and stretch. And stretch. Okay, last thing that we're going to do, you're going to lie on your side. We're going to do what's called a thoracic mobilization. So you're going to put your legs together, all right? Knees together. Actually, top knee is going to be on the floor. So just move that top knee into where it touches the floor. Then, with hands together, you're going to open up like a book as much as you can and then close. So the thing with this exercise is it's so important that the top knee is making contact with the floor the entire time. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to mobilize our thoracic spine, that upper spine. So a lot of pain issues come from the fact that the thoracic spine is not mobile when it should be mobile. And then the lumbar spine is too mobile when it should be stable. So thoracic spine should be mobile, lumbar spine should be stable. Okay, let's switch sides. So typically, when you have dysfunction in your body, what you want to do is exercises to mobilize the thoracic spine, like this one right here. Remember to keep the top knee touching the floor. And then you want to do exercises that are going to stabilize your lumbar spine. Those are going to be typically core exercises. And then when you get that balance back in your body, then a lot of the dysfunction will disappear. We'll do a couple more of these. All right. So we should be nice and stretched out and mobilized and ready to do this workout. So the first exercise that we're going to do is going to be a plank with some intra-abdominal pressure, okay? So when we do functional movements, we need our cores to stabilize our body. So the core stabilizes the body through functional movement by intra-abdominal pressure, and that is just pressure against the diaphragm, and then it's pressure in these muscles that's called the intercostals. It's just pressure that goes all throughout the trunk, and that's what keeps you stable in movement. So we're going to do an exercise to start that is going to teach you how to create that intra-abdominal pressure. So when you're doing movements like squats and lunges, like you're going to feel that pressure in your trunk. All right. So we're going to start in plank position. You're going to bring your hips up almost to a downward dog position. And then as you come back into plank, you're going to blow out as hard as you can, like you're blowing out birthday candles. So it's and then back up. Nice big breath in. And then birthday candles out. And as you exhale, you should feel everything kind of collapsing in, all right? So, but you also feel that strong tightness, that pressure in the ribs. Okay, so that's our first exercise. We're going for 45 seconds. We're gonna do that one over and over. Let's get ready and go. All right, so hips up, blow out birthday candles. Up, blow out. Don't listen to my count. You're going to do yours, whatever's comfortable to you. Make sure your elbows are soft. And your shoulders are stacked right above your hands. And rest. Next, we're going to do glute bridges. If you want an added challenge, you can put a weight on your hips. Okay, and then what we're going to do is just lift up while squeezing your glutes, squeezing your butt. That's your gluteus maximus. And I want you to think about your glutes, activate your glutes. Feel them on the way down, feel them on the way up. Give them a good squeeze. And you want to lift your hips, but not too high, because you don't want to hyperextend your low back. And you can always make this one more challenging with weight, rest, or you can do it single leg. Next is going to be a deadlift. So you typically want to go kind of heavy with your weight on this deadlift, but you don't have to. You can just do more reps, okay? So we're going to start with shoulders back, chest up. You're going to hinge forward at the hips and then squeeze your glutes to come up. So hinging forward, squeezing glutes to come up. So your back stays nice and flat. You want to be careful not to round the back too much. And every time you hinge forward, you should feel a good stretch in the hamstrings before you stand up. And you're using those glutes to pull the weight up. Okay, next you're going to need a set of light weights. We're going to be balancing on one foot, and we're going to do side raises. One arm at 10 o'clock, one at 2 o'clock. So we're going to raise out to the side, thumbs facing up. So like I said before, think about you've got one weight at 10, one at 2. And what we're working here is a muscle called the serratus anterior. And what this muscle does is it keeps your scapula in place. So sometimes when you see people do push-ups, you'll see their scapula will kind of wing out and stick out. And that usually is a sign of a weak scapula. Rest. All right, and then we're going to do a side plank. So one of the best ways to improve posture is also to strengthen your glutes if you have weak glutes. So what you can do here is a modified side plank where you are doing a leg raise at the same time. So we're targeting glutes and we're doing a side plank at the same time. And if you're like really feeling saucy, then you can get into a high plank and not do modified plank and do the side raise. But I will tell you, this is going to be very challenging because just by holding yourself up, you're already tiring your glutes. So by the time you get to the other side, they're really going to be tired. And rest. Okay, grab your light weights again. We're going to do a row with external rotation. Okay, so externally rotate means that we're going to be rotating back with a weight like this. But we're going to row first and then rotate. So we have our body at a 45-degree angle. We're going to row, rotate back. Row and rotate. Row, rotate. So you want to make sure that you're doing light weights on this one. We're really hitting upper back. All right. And then we're coming down onto the floor for a bird dog. We're going to extend one arm in the opposite leg. And take your time with this one. This is a balance and stabilization exercise right here. It's not meant to be done quickly. It's meant to be done super slow so you can work on your balance. And if this is too easy for you, you can do this exercise in the plank position. But you want to make sure that you've mastered this on the knees before moving into the plank. Okay, and then we're going to do squats. So we're doing squats because we want to strengthen glutes. All right, if we have tight hip flexors, we want to stretch hip flexors and strengthen glutes. So we're going to do some body weight squats, but you can also do squats with weight. All right, but I'm just doing body weight for this exercise because I'm focusing more on my depth and I'm also focusing on my glute activation, okay? Activating the muscle is so important that if you just keep overloading yourself with more and more weight, but you haven't like properly learned how to activate the muscle, then it's just a waste of time and it's gonna increase your risk of injury. So always drop down weight and just try to do the exercise correctly. You can do this next one with weight, but I'm going to do it without. It's called a reverse no angel. So you have your thumbs up, you lift up, and then pull back. Arms out to the side, down, up, pull back, and down. Lift, pull back, down. So this exercise is so great for correcting that rounded posture because these muscles in the back are typically very weak So this is one that you can do multiple times a week, and it will really help to correct your rounded posture. And it's really challenging when you use it with weights. Okay. Last exercise we're going to do is going to be on the floor. You can stay where you are. They're Y's, T's, and W's. So you're going to lift up Y, out to the side, T, arms in a 90-degree angle, lift, W. So it's up, Y, to the side, T, and W. Y, T, and W. Lift, lift, lift. Okay, so that's all of them. We're going to do this again. So we're going back to that plank with the intra-abdominal pressure that I was telling you about, but blowing out the birthday candles. Here we go. All right, now we're going to lie on our back and do the glute bridge. All right, so I'm going to use a weight this time. You can take a weight and just lay it right across your lap. Here we go. Sometimes you can use 2 weights and just place one on either side of your hips. So the glute bridge is the best exercise to start with if you have low back pain. So you can do this without weight on the floor. And you can do it a couple times a day and see if you experience some relief. This is also one of my favorite exercises to add to a warm-up, just to activate the glutes. All right, we're on our feet. We have the deadlift next. Here we go. So your knees are soft, but they're not bent. Okay, and then next is going to be the single leg balance with the raises. So remember that you have one weight at 10 o'clock, one weight at 2 o'clock. So I balanced, last time I balanced on my left, my right leg. So now I'm going to balance on my left, which is probably going to look a lot worse than my right. So I throw a little balance into this routine, so that way we can work on our core and our stability at the same time. Okay, now we're on the floor for the side plank. All right, so we're going to do the other side this time. And you can do this in full plank or modified plank. And we're just going to do a little leg lift at the same time. So you should really feel that in your glutes. And if you turn your toe inward just a bit, you're going to get more of that glute medius. That's that small little muscle in our glutes that stabilizes the hip when we walk, when we run, when we exercise. All right. And then we're going to do the row with the external rotation. So you get your light weights out for this one. Here we go. So we're going to row and then rotate back. Nice straight back, kind of a 45-degree angle. Okay, and then we're on the floor once again for the bird dog. Here we go. And like I said, for added challenge, you can do this in the high plank position. So when you lift your arm and your leg, you want to make sure that your spine still stays neutral. So if you find that when you lift, you're getting this big arch in the low back, then just don't lift the arm and leg up as high. You know, you can just lift it just a little bit. It's more important to have that neutral spine. Okay, on your feet, we're doing squats. And you can do these weighted. Here we go. Think about activating those glutes. What did your glutes feel like when you're doing the glute bridges? That's what you should feel on the squats. All right, so we're on the floor for the reverse no angel. So starting out with a thumbs up. Lift and then pull back. Lift, pull. Your legs should stay resting on the floor. Okay, you're gonna stay right where you are, because now we're gonna do the Y's, T's, and the W's. This can be a very difficult one if you want to make it more challenging. Just try to hold the position a little bit longer. So instead of 1 second, see if you can hold it for 3 seconds. And that is it. All right. So that is your balance workout. You can do this workout routine all on its own, or you can do this as kind of like a warm-up to your regular workout routine. If you don't want to do all these exercises at once, then see if you can sprinkle them into your other routines. So maybe you just take 2 of these exercises and do them in the beginning as you're warming up. So that way you're always working on these exercises that are improving your posture. And if you'd like to get in more of a workout after this one, please check out some of our other videos. Subscribe to our channel if you'd like to receive updates for when we have posted a new video. And yeah, this is basically, it's kind of a little trial of like what we do in our personal training. And so we're always focusing on strength, core, cardio, flexibility, and posture. Posture is a really big one for us. So reach out to us, schedule your free session, and we'd love to see you. All right, have a good one.